What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am the Joker 863 and sometimes 407. Now this video I'm going to talk about something I learned from personal experience when it comes to relationships. Now, if I really like the girl, well, if I really like her, and the most surefire way to lose this girl and have her break up with me is to introduce her to my grandparents. Because my grandfather will pull up anything negative and bad that I ever done in my past and bring it up to her. And I don't know what it is. They must be cursed or something. But off of first meeting, I could pretty much consider that relationship dead. Over. Finito. Done. You know. It happens almost every time. But when it comes to my mom meeting the girl, my mom's gotten along with almost every girl I've ever been with. That's why I consider my mom my best friend. My grandparents will never reach the friend status with me. They're just family. They're just grandparents, you know. But as far as my mom goes, my mom is my mom first, and she's my best friend. I mean, I have friends, but my mom is my best friend. She's the best friend of all best friends when it comes to my friendships. With my other best friends, my mom is my best friend. Besides, if it wasn't for me, my mom wouldn't be smoking weed because I got my mom to smoke weed. She didn't find out that I was smoking weed until I was like 19 years old. And I've been smoking since I was 13. She asked me why I never told her, and I said because I didn't want you to get mad at me or fucking bitch me out about the shit. And she said she would have never bitched me out about it. I guess it all depends. Marijuana's not the worst thing you could do. And speaking of that, I always used to get my ex-girlfriend to smoke weed. She'd do it once in a great while, but she broke up with me when I was in jail, and now she's a fucking crackhead. She's a fucking crackhead. She smokes crack. And then I think to myself, maybe the breakup wasn't so bad because even if we were still together, she might try to force me or swayed me into smoking crack, which I would never do. There's two things I wouldn't usually do that I've actually done in life. I took one bump of cocaine. I was offered two, but I didn't take the second one. I only took the first one. I smoked meth for a while since 2015, made a New Year's resolution to quit in 2016, and I actually kept that New Year's resolution. Besides, you ever notice that people make these New Year's resolutions and never keep them? I guess they don't really think about their New Year's resolutions before they make them, and then they don't keep them. But me, I actually ask myself the question, when it comes to making a New Year's resolution, can I keep it? And if I can, I want to keep it forever. And I actually that was my first and only New Year's resolution. And I actually kept it, and I still keep it to this day. Oh, yeah. But back to the relationship subject and introducing the girl to my grandparents, that's a never. That's a no-no. Unless you want to lose the girl in less than a month, or even less than that, then go right ahead. But if you really like the girl, don't introduce her to your grandparents. Because my grandparents are fucking toxic. Introducing any girl that I'm in a relationship with to them would be the nail in the coffin. It'd be over. in a matter of time, actually. That's why I decided if I ever date again, I'm never gonna tell my my new girlfriend that about my grandparents. And if she ever asks, I'll say they're dead, but they're just dead inside. They're very much physically alive, but they're dead inside. Yeah, pretty much. Those people are too negative for me. And I still got my mom says 8 months if I get the early termination on probation. I got 8 months of probation left if I get early termination. And if not, I gotta ride it out till what? Okay, I got on probation back in 2020, so 2024. But I'm hoping to get off sooner because I want to burn. I want to smoke a blunt, get high as fuck. But this ain't why I'm making this video and why I'm talking about it. Well, this isn't why I'm making the video. I mostly am making a video as a public service announcement to the people of Polk County and to the people of Fort Meade. Oh yeah, the people of Fort Meade, Florida. They can't mind their own business, and if you do something, they'll never let you forget, because everybody knows everybody in this fucked up town. And I'm pretty sure all the chicks in this town have fucked all the dudes in this town, except me. And I bet you they have like a shit ton of STDs. But I'll pass on the STDs because I don't fuck nobody in this town. I take that back. I fucked one person in this town, but other than that, I don't really fuck a lot of people in this town. I fucked this meth head chick, but I think that was back when I was kind of on meth, but I was mostly smoking weed more than I was doing meth because I didn't like how meth made me feel. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, you can't date nobody in this town because as soon as you date them, rumors will spread like wildfire all over town. If one side of town knows your business, then all four corners of this town will know your business. The north side will know your business, the west side will know your business, and the east side will know your business, as well as the south side, if that's where it originated. Because people don't know how to mind their own business. They don't know how to keep their mouth shut about anything. They don't respect people's business or anything. My dad once told me when I was a little kid, I was about 7 or 8 years old. The people in this town, he told me, they don't want you to have nothing. They don't want you to have shit. And if you're happy, they're quick to destroy that shit. Like I said before, whenever something good's happening for me in Fort Meade or in Polk County, motherfuckers are just right around the corner ready to fuck that shit up and destroy all happiness and hope for me. That's why when I get off probation, I'm going back to Kissimmee. Fuck Polk County. And fuck Fort Meade too. Straight up, man. And if anybody from Fort Meade is watching this video, take this as a public service announcement from me to you, telling you, fuck you. Straight up, fuck you. Besides, I like Kissimmee better because when somebody asks me my name, I tell them, you don't need to know my name. You don't really need to know anything about me, and I like to keep it that way. Besides, people in Kissimmee don't really get into your business like that. Yeah, it's better that way. I've learned to expect bad luck here, good luck in Kissimmee. Because there's been 2 times that I was in Kissimmee and I was fucking homeless. And people would actually help you out there. I had like 2 people give me $20 and I had got $40 in one day just for being homeless. Yeah, around Christmas time, they'll give you like $40 and tell you, hey, go get yourself something to eat. They tell me not to buy drugs with it. I do get myself something to eat, and I end up buying me a sack of weed. Which is pretty dope. But now that I mention it, I once bought weed from this lady in Kissimmee. Man, I smoked the whole fucking sack, and I wasn't high. I was pissed off, too. I was like, man, what kind of weed is this? It was like straight up garbage weed. You know that fucking lousy ass weed that you fucking smoke and it don't get you high even if you smoke the whole bag? It still wouldn't get you high? I only got like a minor head change, a minor high from it. One time I actually got lucky in Kissimmee. When I was on the streets, I slept in front of somebody's yard. I thought I was sleeping behind the library, but I didn't know they owned that property too. They called the police on me. And I had like fucking, about 5 or 6 joint roaches in my pocket when the police rolled up on me. They found a little bag. I had my Twisted jersey with a pot leaf on it for the W for Twisted. And they told me, I assume that you have some marijuana on you. You have something on you. But being that you're having a hard time, we ain't even gonna bother searching you. Man, I took a sigh of relief, man. That shit, man. I was still high, but it almost blew my high. This when I was with the girl, I don't say her name. I was trying to wake her up because the police were coming, and she thought I was bullshitting. I'm like, look, when I say the police are fucking coming, I don't bullshit about that. But she was like, I thought you were joking. I thought you were kidding about that. I'm like, no, I don't kid about the cops. There's 2 things I don't kid about. I don't kid about cops, and I don't kid about weed. Those 2 things I take very seriously. But she didn't believe me until it was too late. And it was the same officers that day. I had a whole fucking almost like 6 different joint roaches in my pocket from the banana rolling papers I used. Take me right into my mom's trailer park because I was telling them how her landlord won't let me visit her, even though they didn't trespass me from that area. And I had to explain to my mom what they were saying, because my mom's deaf and I had to use sign language to tell her that they're saying that the landlord can't stop me from visiting her. And then they asked me to ask her if she wanted me there. And she said yes. She said I was welcome to visit her anytime I wanted to. And it's funny though, because they wanted to talk to the landlord too, but the landlord was nowhere in the area. I mean, he was there a few minutes before because he went to my mom's place to check if I was still there because they told me to leave, but I've never been trespassed from that area. And every time the dude called the cops, I was never in the area. So the police always showed up late there. And they'd ask me if I was still there. They asked my mom if I was still there, and my mom said, no, I took him away from this area, or I took him home. But yeah, this is in Kissimmee. Old Bill Fugate wanted to fucking start shit with me. My mom's landlord. And if he's watching this, you pretty much know what I'm gonna say. But enough said, I actually wrote a lot of bad reviews there. Most of those bad reviews were true. Others, part of it I fabricated. I called the man a racist. I called his wife a racist. But that wasn't actually true. I just wanted to give bad reviews on the place. Yeah, there's this other time I was with, we don't say her name. That's what I call her. I said we don't say her name. My boy Ruben wants to call her the she-devil, but I think it's better to just say we don't say her name because we actually know what I'm talking about, but I'm not giving her any kind of name or any kind of recognition. I am, but I ain't. I am because I know who I'm talking about, and I ain't because I'm refusing to use her name. We were in the storage area, the storage place, and I was like setting off black cats. That was back during my Bible burning days, and I used to say shit like God is dead and shit, Jesus Christ is dead and shit, but I think I ended up paying for that. This guy, he does something there. He works there. He asked me if I set fire to if I burned anything, and I lied and I said no, and he said, why is there burning paper all over the place? And I didn't have an answer for that, because I actually did burn shit. And then the lady who owns the storage unit up in Kissimmee, she came up to me and my ex, and she said, hey, you know you can't smoke in here. I'm like, well, that's funny because I see people who come in here and smoke. One guy was fucking sleeping in one of the storage units. And they didn't say nothing to him. They saw him fucking leave too. But they didn't say nothing about it though. And just as she pulled off, I had to get the last words and fucking flip her off, and then she came right back and kicked us out. She even called the police, and the guy, he fucking lied to the cop saying that I threatened him with a knife. And I told him, nah, that's bullshit. I didn't threaten that motherfucker with a knife. I was just cutting off the ends of fucking cigarette butts I find in the ashtray because I didn't have cigarettes at the time. And I wasn't going to put my mouth on a filter that someone else had their mouth on. But yeah, long story short, we got trespassed from there for like a year. The year is up anyways, because it happened back in, I think, 2017. Yeah, pretty much 2017. That was back when I was sleeping on the ground and fucking had to wake up like early in the morning to be able to take a shower, then eat, and then go back to the usual spot and sit down and do whatever. Go to the library, charge my phone. She had to charge her phone. It was just a crazy moment for me. But if I do go back, I will go back to Kissimmee. But only this time, I'm not going to leave the area. I'm not going to leave my mom's place because the only reason why the landlord found out that we were there the first time is because that bitch had to get up and sell shit because she was selling shit on Offer Up and Let Go, and people were watching us. They saw us there, and then they saw us go right back into her place. I'm sure the landlord would have never found out that we were there if she didn't do that stupid shit. I told her we're not even supposed to be in here because, for one, I'm a felon. I'm a convicted felon. And they already said I can't be in there. Besides, every time I'm in there, they fucking call the police. And every time the police show up, my mom takes me out of there. And then I come back like about a few days later. Yeah, I was telling the cops about this guy. One of them, I think his name was Officer Naper. He said, "Oh, that guy." Like he knew him and he was like sick of him because I guess he calls the police all the time on stupid shit. His wife does that shit too. Yeah, but I cussed him out, man. Sometimes I get on Facebook and fucking threaten his ass. But I don't think he ever checks the messages. I think he only checks messages from his friends. And I'm probably on that message request in the message on his messenger because I use like several different accounts to do that shit. But he never responds. He never even checks the message. So fuck him, you know. Fuck Bill Fugate. Fuck the whole Fugate family. Oh yeah, I'm about to tell the story about how one time we had got raided by the police, right? Fucking officers pointed like this assault rifle at me, but not before he kicked me. I had already had my hands up and the motherfucker just walked up and fucking kicked me. I was like, man, what's the worst I could do? All you could have done was all you had to do was fucking grab one hand, put that hand behind my back, and then put the other hand behind my back. You didn't have to fucking kick me, man. But I think he did that because he likes to abuse his power. He thinks, oh, I got a badge, I got a fucking uniform. I don't have to respect citizens. I could treat anyone how I want to treat them. And they have to respect me for it. But fuck all that, man. That's bullshit, man. I even told his supervisor, but his supervisor didn't say shit about it. He ran as slow as he could to try to confront him, but by the time he got to him, the motherfucker was already gone. So they pretty much planned that shit. All because our fucking landlord, this motherfucker, I don't know, y'all might know him. Y'all might not know him, or you might know him. In Kissimmee, his name is Tony Nelson. I used to buy weed from him on a regular. He orders like, I don't know, fucking 8 pounds or 8 ounces of weed. And we got questioned heavy about it. One officer asked me, do you know what's in that box? I'm like, hell no, I don't know what the fuck's in that box. And he said, there's weed in that box. I was like, man, I didn't know that shit. You act like I knew that shit, but I didn't know that shit. And none of them even believed any of us. I'm surprised we didn't go to jail that day. They confiscated 2 pipes and 1 pipe and fucking took like, I don't know, some weed ashes and shit. Man, I'm lucky we didn't go to jail that day. I would have been pissed if I went to jail in Kissimmee. If I went to jail in Kissimmee, they better not have put me in the same cell as that motherfucker. I would have whooped his ass on some real shit. But yeah, man, that shit was crazy. This one lady officer asked me my name while I was still in cuffs. She was like, sir, what's your name? I'm like, I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you my name. And they threatened to haul me off. They threatened to take me to jail because I didn't want to tell her my name. I don't see why I would even have to. I'm like, hell, y'all raided the place and I don't think I have to tell you anything. But yeah, all that could have been avoided because my mom on the same day was going to St. Cloud because apparently her man Mario, well, they're friends that happen to live together and sleep in the same bed. And I'm not even going to go into details about that. Mario knew somebody in St. Cloud, and my mom said she had this feeling to take me and we don't say her name to St. Cloud, but Mario wouldn't let her in About a few hours later, we had a fucking police raid. I told my mom about the shit. My mom fucking snapped and went off on a fucking officer. And I told my mom how much I wanted to threaten those motherfuckers. But my mom told me, do you want to go to jail? And I was like, nah, but it'd be damn sure worth it to threaten them motherfuckers over some shit like that. Fucking kicking me and shit. When I already had my hands up and all they had to do was handcuff me. But I ain't gonna go on about that because it was straight bullshit. That's all I'm gonna say about it. And this one dude, he fucking signed for the package. And the fucking guy that we were paying rent to watched from his bedroom window fucking laughing. He was fucking laughing about the shit until the police opened his door and fucking handcuffed him and took him outside. Oh yeah, this reminds me of another funny story. Okay, one day we're at the fucking laundromat because what's her name wanted to wash clothes and shit. I ain't gonna say her name, but if you're my friend, if you're a close friend and I told you about her, then you know who I'm talking about. Okay, we were at the laundromat and I was fucked up on some kratom, some gold kratom shit. I thought all kratom was the same because I used to do like green kratom and red kratom with my boys Jordan and Joey. I thought the gold strand, I was like, man, this is just the same. It ain't no different. But I didn't know that it made me too hyperactive, you know. I was going crazy. I wanted to fight people. And this one guy, he walks into the laundromat, right? After I'm having like one of my days, and and we don't say her name, try to tell him to back off because he started talking shit. He said, "Oh, I was in the army. I could take it." I was like, "Dude, we could go outside right now." I said, "Because I'll kick your ass, but I ain't gonna kick your ass in here. We'll go right outside." And he went outside and got on his phone. My mom went up and confronted him. And then there's I don't know what the fuck she was. If she was his girlfriend, his mom, or whatever the fuck, but she looked like a fucking man. She came out fucking talking shit and everything. I'm fucking in the car because what's her name? I ain't gonna say her name. She made me sit down in the fucking back seat, and I said, "Man, I'm gonna kick this dude's ass. I'm gonna fuck him up because he's talking all this shit about how he was in the fucking army, and I wanna rock his shit." She saw me about ready to get out of the car, but she held the door shut and fucking put her legs on my lap to where I couldn't get up, and I was flipping him off and screaming at him, telling him, "Don't make me get out of this car." And I think the motherfucker either took a picture of my mom's license plate or some shit. And we don't say her name. She was freaking out and all this shit. I'm like, man, don't even worry about it because this motherfucker's probably one of them fucking baseheads. He's probably one of them fucking crackheads. And besides, he wasn't in no fucking army because as far as I'm concerned, if you were in any type of army or military, whatever the fuck, you wouldn't talk about being an army motherfucker or a fucking military motherfucker. You'd actually prove that shit. You wouldn't have to talk about it. You'd actually show that shit. But he never did. He was just all talk. And I really wanted to kick his ass, but this bitch wouldn't let me. It was fucking funny. She was freaking out because she thought that dude was actually in the military and that he was actually going to call the police on us and shit. I'm like, but none of that shit ever happened. Oh, there was one time after Hurricane Irma hit Florida. That's where I'm from, actually, if you haven't noticed. 863-407. Yeah. The landlord moved out, and we didn't know that we were served an eviction notice because he kept that shit a secret. And he moved in with this lady, and I saw her pulling off one time, and it was one day I didn't have no fucking weed, and I grabbed the fucking shovel, and I was like threatening her and shit. I think she called the police because she stayed right there for a good few minutes. And by the time the police showed up, I was out of the area. I went somewhere else. And they told, we don't say her name, oh, when your boyfriend comes back, tell him that you can't be threatening people. And this is where I learned this lesson. Okay. If you threaten somebody, like a citizen, then you're good, you know. You ain't gonna go to jail for no shit. Most likely what happen is you get a fucking warning. But if you threaten a cop, you better believe your ass is going to jail, hands down. But yeah, man. I didn't mean to make this video that long. I was just going on about shit, but yeah, basically, I don't even know what I'm going to name this video, but fuck it. It's whatever. And to close the video, I'm going to say, well, you know, like and subscribe if you want to. If not, I don't give a fuck. And this has kind of been a number of lists of things that I wanted to talk about and get off my chest. From yours truly, Joker863, sometimes 407. And I'm signing off.